All right, good morning, students. This is the PowerPoint presentation we did on week 10. So we talked about compound and complex sentences, okay? Um, these elements will be required for you to use in the final written production. I will explain it on week 11, which is today, okay? Now, in today's lesson, I'm going to talk a lot about clause. Okay, what is a clause? A clause in English is defined as a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. Okay, so in this case here, I like to play outside. This is called a simple sentence, but it's also a clause. Why? Because you have the subject, I, you have the verb to play, sorry, and then you have the object, okay, to play outside. Now, in English, there are the two main clauses are independent clause, okay? If the group and the definition of an independent clause is if the group of words makes complete sense on its own. So for example, the car broke down. This sentence makes perfect sense. The car broke down. So it's an independent clause, indépendant, okay? Why? Because it's a sentence in itself. It's a complete action, it's a complete idea. You have the subject, the verb, and the object, and we broke down. Now, so this is an independent clause. But you also have a dependent clause. This is if the group of words does not make sense on its own. Okay, so if you say this, when I was on the highway, it's a dependent clause. You cannot have this sentence on its own because it doesn't make sense. Dependent means ça dépend de quelque chose d'autre, ça dépend d'une autre idée. Cette action-là est non terminée, it's incomplete. Okay, so if you write this, it's a mistake. So what is it that you do? You could do this. The car broke down when I was on the highway. Perfect. Dependent clause depends on the other one. Okay, celle-là dépend de l'autre. All right. You also have Santa Claus, but this is something else. Okay. Now, in English, there are what is called compound sentences. A compound sentences is when two independent clauses or more are put together. Okay? So if, for example, you have this here, we both loved the book. Kim hated the movie. These are independent. This is an independent clause. Okay, why? Because you have your subject here, the verb, but the idea, the action can stand alone. Okay, so if you just say we both love the book, perfect, it makes sense. Kim hated the movie, perfect, it makes sense. So these are two independent clauses, and in order to form a compound sentence, you have to put both of them together. So you could do this: we both love the book, but Kim hated the movie. Now the problem is if you do it like this, okay, or independent clause, if you do it like this in your written production, I'm going to underline this and I'm going to write PCT for punctuation. It's a punctuation mistake. Why? Okay, why is this a punctuation mistake? Because you need to put the comma there. Okay, we both loved the book, but comma, but Kim hated the movie. Why is that? Because in a compound sentence, you have what is called coordinating conjunctions or coordinators, and they are under the acronym of fanboys. The coordinators are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So fanboys, these are called coordinators, and they are included, they are part of a compound sentence. We both love the book, comma, but Kim hated the movie. Okay, so the comma will be used 90 to 95% of the time in a compound sentences. In this case here, you have to be careful. If you have this sentence, I like apples, bananas, and strawberries, here you don't put a comma because it's an enumeration of 3 elements or more. So you don't do this. But if you do it like this here, I like apples, bananas, and strawberries, and I also enjoy watching movies. So here you need a comma here because these are one independent clause and one another independent clause together, separated by a coordinator. Okay? Now, complex sentences. A complex sentence is when one independent clause and one dependent clause are put together. I could not sleep yesterday. I could not sleep yesterday. So this is a sentence. I was thinking about all the work I had to do. This is an independent clause because the action is can stand on its own. Okay, it makes perfect sense on its own. Yesterday I couldn't sleep. However, if you say this, I was thinking about all the work I had to do. If you have this sentence, this is a dependent clause because it depends on something else. You cannot just have this sentence on its own. I was thinking about all the work I had to do. There's something missing. It has to depend on something else. So in order to fix this, you can't do this. I could not sleep. I was thinking about all the work I had to do. Incorrect. I was thinking about all the work I had to do. I could not sleep. Incorrect. Okay. There's a punctuation mistake. If you do this, it's going to be a mistake. Okay. PCT, you can't do this. What is it that you do then? You have to add a hard word. I'm going to explain what I mean by this. I could not sleep yesterday because I was thinking about all the work I had to do. Okay, so the because here is what we call subordinating conjunctions, and there are many of them. Because, before, that, which, after, whenever, where, although, unless, etc., etc., etc. The the subordinating conjunction is called a hard word because it turns two sentences into one. So two people and it brings them together as lovers. Ooh, love is in the air. I don't know. Okay. I could not sleep because I was thinking about all the work I had to do. So the word because here, the subordinating conjunction, put these two clauses together. Okay. There are two ways to use the comma in a complex sentence. Okay. You can write it like this. I could not sleep because I was thinking about all the work I had to do. Perfect. So if you start with the independent clause and the dependent clause like this, you don't need a comma. Okay, you don't need a comma. The comma is not required. However, if you start with the dependent clause, because I was thinking about all the work I had to do, comma, I could not sleep yesterday. This, in this case here, a comma is required. And here at the end, if you want to practice, here I have exercises. The answers are here, and here I have exercises. The answers are here. Okay, so you will have to use this for final written production. So I'm gonna put it on layout right now, and you can have a look and ask me questions if you have questions about it tonight. All right, sounds good. Good luck, guys. Bye.